Good morning, everyone. It is April 8th. We got the morning market rundown. Been a little bit since we dove into this, so let's get into it. So we got this daily time frame. So chart's a little bit marked up here. So just looking over these volume weighted average prices. So we have this low from October 2022, and we could see how this level acted as a key level. We have this handoff as price rallied in to this 2022 VWAP. You see how it acted as supply here. As we broke back above, we reclaimed this premises, and that's why we put a VWAP on this Aqua VWAP. But prior to that, we could see that as we rejected that 2022 pivot high in this area, we pulled back to hold this 2022 pivot. So we slapped an anchor there as a significant level to monitor. And we could see here yesterday, price just undercut that VWAP and rallied back above both of these. So the average buyer from these 2 points in time are still in control. So now we're monitoring to see that we're probing this level. It's a potential level of support. We'll get some confirmation in this trading day or the following day. If we could hold and then potentially bring our path of least resistance back into for a break above 523 to fill this gap, maybe back into this all-time high, where you could see here has been acting as a real key level of supply as well. So let's get us into this intermediate time frame where we have our SPY trade plan, and we'll be monitoring is ideally as we're gapping up. So don't chase the gap. We'll wait for VWAP. We'll pull back. We'll monitor to see if we get some early profit taking in the opening drive. Look for a pullback down into this. This will be the 3-day VWAP at 506 and the 2-day VWAP at this 557 premises. Ideally, pull back, rally back above the daily VWAP, get some strength, and then that could fuel us a push into 520 and then back into this 532. So if this pulls back and gets back above the daily VWAP in this, maybe this 510 region to 508 with a potential stop at this 499. So it's a potential risk of $8 to make $20 to $30. And if it's a V-shaped bottom recovery, it could be back at 560 near this all-time high anchored VWAP. This is not a prediction. It's just a potential scenario. And if we lose this rallies up and this doesn't reclaim that daily VWAP, which is that dotted purple line as anticipated price action, this could be our bear trap where instead of reclaiming this daily VWAP and getting going, we rally into it and fail. So just pointing out that bear trap that we talked about in the picture here. So that's a potential play here. And we could also monitor that if we're just tight in the pre-market here and we break above this pre-market high, right? Monitor if we break above that pre-market high, retest the VWAP, and that could be our fuel of a push with a potential stop underneath this 499.20 region. We're going to get over to the QQQ here. We'll back out into that daily time frame as well, just to reiterate what we went over on the S&P 500. So similar concept, just different lows here. So we have that 2022 pivot high. You could see here with these marked arrows that you could see the level of supply that had, and the same concept as we broke back above and retested this area right here. Right, that's where we rejected. This held as support, and now even here, where this 2022 pivot high flipped from being supply to being demand and acting as support. You could see that clean change in character at this red line into the blue square, where it actually flips right here at that point in time, right here. So that's where we're getting our key levels and why we're doing this. We're just not making this up. So you could see here, we pulled back right to this January 2023 pivot low, right to the T. Almost can't even make that up, right? Right to that T of this prior low. So we got to bounce here, and we're going to monitor to see if we can stick this support level instead of just probing with it. So let's get into that intermediate time frame. And a similar setup as we discussed in the S&P 500 is monitor, pull back to this 2-day VWAP. Maybe that's it. It gets back above the daily VWAP and we start pushing back in, or maybe undercuts a little bit deeper underneath these stops right? May even undercut these stops, undercut deep, then look for some consolidation, get back above the daily VWAP, and then that could fuel our push back into that month-to-date VWAP at that 438 and potentially in that gap fill, that 5-day moving average, that 450 premises. Just like we monitored on the SPY here, okay? Monitor that if this breaks down here, this breaks down, starts to rally, and starts to break and not hold underneath the daily VWAP and that 2 and 3 day VWAP, monitor for that bear trap back down into that 400 level. That could be a potential scenario as well, that if we get a profit taking, aggressive bounce, and then start to fail to hold above this 2, 3 day and daily VWAPs, monitor for weakness back down to that 400 premises. But we'll see if the buyers can step up. Right now, all we do is see lower lows and lower highs. So if this rallies up, this pulls back, we break this high in the pre-market, we have rally to a new high, higher low, new high. So we have a potential to start seeing a change in character of higher highs and higher lows. If you like this kind of analysis, please like and subscribe. Enjoy the day.